Hello everyone, welcome to the next topic on performing check-in functions. Check-in is a major guest movement that may involve checking in guests arriving in a group or assisting groups of individual guests who are staying at the establishment to attend a conference or a seminar. Generally, the most important factor to consider when dealing with group tours is space. Let us now go to welcoming guests on arrival. In welcoming guests, we should provide a professional welcome and use a suitable greeting phrase. When we say welcoming, what does this mean? This means a kind welcome. How about using a suitable greeting phrase? What can you suggest? A suitable greeting phrase means a greeting that is sincere, sound genuine, not false, of course, polite, which is not rude to the guest, and you should also have the very good body language. After welcoming the guest, you should determine if the guest has a reservation and confirm and explain reservation details. So, what are the details that you are going to confirm with the guest? First is the name, length of stay or how many days the guest will be staying in the hotel, method of payment, it can be through credit card, debit card, or cash, special request, rate, and vouchers. When guest arrives in the hotel, it's either they have a reservation or they are walk-in guests. When we say walk-in guests, these are guests without reservations. So for those who have reservation, of course, you have to retrieve the reservation in the system or in your booking list and confirm the reservation by double checking the details of the guests and proceed with the check-in procedure. But if the guest doesn't have a reservation, you have to determine first what are the guest needs. Are they going to check in, get a room, or they will just enjoy the facilities that is offered in the hotel? Or maybe they just are there for inquiries. So when the guest will inquire for a room, you have, of course, to check first the availability of the room and let the guest choose what type of room they want. After the guest has chosen the room, and if the room is already available, then the next thing that you will ask is the method of payment. There are different methods of payment. The guests can pay through credit card, debit card, or cash, depending on the hotel policies. Of course, you also have to mention the policy and procedures about payment methods. There are hotels that do not accept checks. There are also hotels that accept from accepting credit cards, debit cards, or cash. They also have online transfers. Very known nowadays are the GCash, Paymaya, PayPal payments. But of course, it still depends on the hotel policies. The next thing is declining the guest if appropriate. As a front desk officer, can you decline a guest? Yes, of course. Of course, you have to check that with the hotel policies. One thing is when the guest is intoxicated or is drunk, or for violent guests. Another thing, you can also decline a guest if the hotel rooms are already fully booked or there are no available rooms for the guests. But you can't just decline right away. Of course, you have to go an extra mile, and you can also help the guest in looking for other hotels. Maybe you can call your partner hotels where you will also refer that to your guests, since you can't accommodate them due to fully booked occupancy of the room. After confirming the reservation of the guest, or the guest has, for those who don't have reservations, they have already decided to stay in the hotel, the next thing that you are going to do is to complete the guest registration process. and that is the process of check-in. The first thing that you have to ask is their proof of identity. What is an example of a proof of identity? That can be their IDs or the passport that they are bringing. You can check that. The proof of identity can be the ID or the passport of the guest, and this would also help you to write fully or exactly the guest names and other details. And of course, complete the registration card. Each hotel or resort has its own registration card with a different design and different information, but basically the thing in common is of course to ask the name, the type of room, the mode of payment, the address, and other personal information of the guests. Lastly, to complete the registration process is to obtain the signature of the guests. Before you ask them to sign the registration card, you have to review the different information that you inputted in the registration card, or you just simply let the guest read the registration card. Once they confirm that the information is correct, that's the time that you will obtain their signature. Once the guest signed the registration card, you already completed the registration process, and you can now issue the keys and vouchers as required. Some hotels offer keys and some are already using key cards, and there are different purposes of issuing that, and that's for key cards and keys. That's energy saving. Once you use the key, that will also be used to turn on the appliances like the power supply of the room. And as of vouchers, it's a form of payment from travel agents, especially when the booking is made through the travel agency. Vouchers can also be in exchange for services such as a complimentary drink. There are vouchers that would let the guest enjoy different services and of course avail of rooms as well. In accepting payments from the guest, you have to look at the hotel policies, follow internal accounting protocols in accepting credit cards. Especially, you have to check the credit limit of the guests, and cash, travel, EFT, POS, travel cards, and the checks. There are, as I've said a while ago, that there are hotels that doesn't accept checks. Of course, one of the reason why is its difficulty or the time you have to spend for the clearing process of these checks. Direct billing and charging, you also have to follow protocol or the policy of the hotel in giving deposits and of course issuing receipts to the guests. Another thing that you have to consider or should also take note as a front desk officer is applying discounts to the guests. There are actually different discounts or room rates. One of that is the rack rate. The rack rate is the standard full cost published rate. So the rack rate are the rates that you usually see in the websites, in the promotional brochures and materials of the hotel. All of these rates are discounted from rack rate. So the rack rate is actually the basic rate of each room in the hotel. Another one is the corporate rate for guests who are traveling on a business or as part of their work. Hotels also give corporate rates to businessmen or for other people or guests that are traveling for business purposes. The third one is for conference or convention rate for attendees of conference and exhibitions. We also have the industry rate that is offered to guests who are working in the hospitality industry. We all know that the hotel is part of the hospitality sector. Negotiated rate is offered for companies who sign an individual contract with the hotel to or for a preset of number of bed nights. So these negotiated rates are not actually offered every day. It depends on the discounts and the promos of the hotel. Group and tour rates, of course, from the term itself, it's offered discounted by numbers of rooms booked. For example, for group tours, let's say educational tours of 50 students or 50 packs, then the hotel will give discounted rates for group or tour rates. Lastly, package rate is a room rate plus services like breakfast or free entertainment tickets to all at one set price. There are also rates that are room rates that also comes with breakfast or other services of the hotel that can be availed by the guests. As a front desk officer, it is also very important to explain the room and house facilities and services to the guests upon check-in. One thing that you have to explain is the safe deposit boxes or in-room safe. These boxes, safe deposit boxes or room safe, are for guest valuables or the valuable items. They can place that. There are rooms that have available safes or safe boxes that are located in the front desk. You will also explain the different facilities of the hotel. We know that the business of the hotels are not just for of the rooms, but there are different facilities that the guest can avail. And of course, these are additional sales of the hotel as well. So you should also promote that for guests to avail of those different facilities. You also include the different services given by the hotel. You will also promote or tell the guests of the different local attractions that they can visit, even if they are there for a tour or for business purposes. It's also nice, it's also good that you inform them of the attractions or promote the attractions in the place where the hotel is located.